Australian identity, past, present and future. The past, the traditional Australian identity. When someone says traditionally Australian, what comes to mind? Men wearing singlets, shorts and thongs, having a barbecue and drinking beer? Soldiers fighting and dying at Gallipoli? People playing cricket in their backyards? Or just words like mateship and loyalty? Whatever comes to mind, it is most likely going to be a stereotype. I mean, I've lived in Australia for 14 years, and I only know one person who actually says g'day. But just because something is a stereotype, it doesn't mean it's a complete lie. It must have come from somewhere, right? Australian identity, as represented in most texts about Australia, is quite outback orientated. People think of Aussies as living in the outback. I think the man in the first stanza of this poem fits the traditional representation of old Australia. The swag man. Oh, he was old, he was spare, his bushy whiskers and his hair were all fussed up and very grey. He said he'd come a long, long way, and had a long, long way to go. Each boot was broken at the toe, and he'd a swag upon his back. His billy can, as black, was just the thing for making tea at picnics, so it seemed to me. Apparently our animals have some of the Aussie spirit of mateship that their owners possess. In the movie Red Dog, a dog whose master has died goes looking for him all over Australia. Red Dog doesn't give up until he finally realizes that his master is dead, and even then he goes back to his master's fiancée. The dog remains loyal to his master for his whole life, eventually dying by his grave. This is in keeping with the traditional representation of Australians as very loyal to their mates. The song I Am Australian describes Australia with lines such as the Dreamtime and dusty red soil plains, and it tells Australia's history in verses such as I came upon the prison ships bound down by iron chains. I fought the land, endured the lash, and waited for the rains. The song also refers to the people of Australia in lines such as I'm a daughter of a digger, I'm a bushy, I'm a battler, a convict then a free man. It describes Australia's identity as a very new country, with its people only just ceasing to be English and beginning to be Australian. The present and the future. What will Australia's identity become? I think that present representations of Australia are not correct. They're outdated and they're missing something. I think that modern representations don't really exist. They're just the same representations as from 100 years ago. They don't include people who live in the city or the suburbs, the ordinary people who live their lives without saying g'day mate or fighting for their country. I think we need to absorb new, different ideas about qualities we as Australians have. We should still keep some parts of the old Aussie representation, but we need to introduce new ideas and define ourselves in new ways, such as an open-minded, creative country with out-of-the-box, innovative thinkers and a friendly, generous population. Examples of these new representations include people like John Ilhan, who founded Crazy John's, a mobile phone retailer. At age 38, he became the richest Australian under 40, but he didn't keep all of his wealth for himself. Inspired by his daughter's extreme peanut allergy, he founded the John Ilhan Food Allergy Foundation, through which he then made donations to many other allergy-focused charities. Another example would be David Warren, who invented the black box, a device which records the noises on a plane during a flight. Its purpose is so that if the plane crashes, we might be able to figure out why, using the voice recordings on the box. People like John Ilhan and David Warren are among the people whose acts are helping bring Australia into a new identity. Poster explanation. I don't think that teenagers think much about what Australian identity means today. They don't think about the fact that they can make a difference in the world. My poster is meant to make people aware of the fact and inspire them to use their gifts for that purpose. My poster has 3 different parts: past, present and future. The past section is designed to make people think about why the Aussies of the past would do what they did. Why would they leave their homes in England to travel to an uninhabited island? They must have hoped for a better future. Why would soldiers be prepared to give their lives for their countries? They obviously thought that Australia and its people had something worth dying for. The past section is supposed to make you think about what made it worth those risks. The present section is designed to make you think about what Australians are doing today that we can take inspiration from. People like Nick Marchesi and Lucas Patchett, who set up a laundry service in their van for the homeless, can be role models for young Australians looking to make a difference in the world. The future section is designed to make people think about what they what they could do to help improve Australia's representation. Whatever your talent is, you can use it to help others, and by doing so, change the world. How do we change the world? One act of random kindness.